Hey sailors, welcome to the crew. I'm Sailor Janda, and this is my Let's Play of Rule the Waves 3 as the United States. It's now 1928, we are at peace, and just replacing our last few losses from our last war with France. And very soon, as in pretty much right now, I believe, we're going to be designing our first real aircraft carrier. Let me just check that that is factually the last thing we need to do. Yeah, I believe we're pretty much hitting our target on... Once these three things are finished, we'll be at our target as far as the rest of the fleet goes. We might need more battle cruisers, but not imminently. So it's past time to develop an aircraft carrier. It's also probably pretty much past time to develop new aircraft, but it's not my top priority. So let's see what everybody else has got for carriers, first of all. Germany has built 3, which have 44 aircraft apiece. Britain has built 1 with 56 aircraft. France is building 1. Japan has 1 with 31 aircraft. Italy has 1 with 50 aircraft. I think we'll probably target 60 aircraft capacity at 28 knots would probably be more than sufficient, but I might target 30 just to make sure it can keep up with the fleet indefinitely. Well, do I have anything that can do... Well, I have 1 new battlecruiser building that'll do 30 knots. We'll see how much it costs to get 28 knots. If it's 30 knots, if it's prohibitive, then we'll leave it alone. Langley. Okay, well, that's kind of the classic name. Okay, armor. Largely irrelevant. I don't think we need an inclined belt either. But we do need the very best torpedo protection money could buy. Guns. I think we have to have a certain number of guns. No, we don't. Okay, we're developed enough that the Navy Board will let me build it without a bunch of guns. Oftentimes it makes you install them on your first... Oh, nope, it does have to have 8 6-inch guns. Okay, fine. Well, at the very least, I'm going to... Oh, no, I can't because they're all casemates. Okay. Those are real turrets now, huh? I don't actually know what this does from a mechanical point of view. Also, what's the point of these being in casemates, really? Oh, I can do that. Okay, that's handy, actually. I can almost make them actually be on the ship now. It's worth having it direct. Okay, can I at least take all the secondaries off? Although, if they're dual purpose, maybe that's fine, even then. Okay, 60 flight deck. I don't think we have catapults yet. Am I wrong about that? I'm not. Okay. We certainly don't have missile launchers. We don't have radar. 60 aircraft capacity. I forget. I think more AA directors is better. Maybe some of them are just backup. I can't fit that many in without Costing too much weight, though. Okay. It would cost a lot to get to 30 knots, so I can do 28 knots on 19,700 tons, or I can do 30 knots on 21,200 tons. Well, we're the U.S., we have a lot of money, and 30 knots would make this a lot more future-proof. 60 aircraft capacity is very, very reasonable for an early carrier. Our first ever carrier, let's not forget. Well, they really shouldn't be getting hit, you know? If it is, something's gone wrong anyway. Sorry, I feel like mic's not in the right place. Is there anything dumb I'm doing? I mean, these guns are not really, well, it's probably not. Interesting. The case-mated ones I can't really move. I'm also not strictly sure what the point of having them be. Can I... That's not what I... Yes. Bye. 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 No. Apparently that ended up being heavier, but I feel more comfortable with that, honestly. I mean, it'd be nice if they were all physically. You know, half of those don't, there's a button to regenerate this, I think. Didn't even know you could adjust ship drawing zoom in. Oh, there we go. Oh, are those all the secondaries that look like that? I get you. It's actually kind of hard for me to... Yeah, alright. I think I can technically, in some fashion, fix them so that they don't do that, but that doesn't actually matter at all. Okay, 30 knots, 8 6-inch guns, because we have to. 10 4-inch guns, because they should actually make decent AA weapons, dual purpose. Full AA suite, 60 aircraft. Not much armor, but a full torpedo defense. I think this is good. And we'll leave it as Langley, because historical reasons. And as soon as the design's finished, we're going to lay down about 4 of them, maybe more, 6 or something. I suspect they're going to be kind of cheap, which probably means I should just build more battleships. We're going to really ruin our budget very quickly here. I mean, they're going to get mad at me for not spending enough money in the 3 months, 4 months it takes to develop that. What else can I do that's useful? Well, more destroyers to replace the Lawrence class since they only have 4-inch guns. Alright, sure. Let's lay down another 10 destroyers as a stopgap just to do something with the budget. Russian naval patrol aircraft, okay. Oh yeah, while we're at it, as long as we're building a new carrier, let's get a fighter for the carrier to use, because the Republic Sentinel B is 3 years old, which means it had pretty much might as well be geriatric in the 1920s. It's a bit funky about the end turns sometimes. I am not selling tech to the Japanese. Improved landing guidance systems, less landing accidents. Good, those happen a lot, so better to avoid them. We have 25. I don't know what exactly, 25 million, 25 billion in the bank, something like that. Too much. Almost enough to, well. Oh, the president's made an ill-considered comment about Spain. I will not comment on policy issues because I don't want to lose prestige, but I have absolutely less than no interest in fighting a war with Spain. They have 9 battleships, and not one of them is over 30,000 tons. Not one of them has better than 13-inch guns, which means probably not one of them is better than any battleship in my fleet. Nor do they make up for it in cruisers. I mean, they have like a fraction, well under half my budget, and they're technologically backwards besides. No, at this point, I mean, Germany would be a pretty close fight. They've got a much heavier carrier arm than me, especially. They're really going all in on that, which is actually odd because what do they need a carrier arm for in the Baltic, really? They have 0 Pacific possessions left since we ejected them from Tsingtao. I mean, they just have African territories, and not even that many of those. So I would be focusing on battleships and land-based aviation if I were them. Aside from them, only Britain is really probably a worthwhile fight for us now. Maybe Japan, just because they're different. Oh, an alliance with Austria-Hungary. Motor landing craft, better invasions. And Langley is ready for construction. I'm going to lay down, given how expensive they are, I'm going to start by laying down 4 of them. USS Langley, Wasp, Yorktown, and Hornet. And these are America's first aircraft carriers. Hopefully they do well for us. Even with my huge funds, we only have 6 months of budget left, which means I've miscalculated this a little bit, but we'll probably be fine. If I have to pause construction on something for a little while, I will. Spain and Austria-Hungarian alliance. Gradual improvement of armor quality. Struggling with better quadruple turrets. Research-wise, fire control needs to stay on high forever. Our naval guns still aren't that great. Yeah. I was just thinking, as the battleship era trends towards its end, so to speak, if there's anything I should turn down, but I think I'm still fine with our priorities. Uprising in a South American country. Let's send a battleship to evacuate our nationals and protect our interests. Later air-launched torpedoes, better hit chances. And we can build capacity 60 air bases. Well, just in case we do fight Britain, maybe we upgrade our air base. Oh, I see, that's there. Okay, yeah. We upgrade our air base at St. John. Just so we're ready to deal with the British one at Halifax. That's about the only place land-based air is likely to be relevant. Britain doesn't even have land-based air on Jamaica. They do in British Columbia, but the ranges involved up here, I mean, unless we're fighting in the Sound here, I doubt aircraft will be relevant. I mean, although they are improving fast, it's almost 1930, they still only have a range mostly of... The ships are no threat to our better equipped and trained navy. Fighting Germany is not a priority for me. Okay, we have Curtiss, Boeing, and Lockheed proposals. They're all pretty much the same speed. The Curtiss proposal has the best range. Equal firepower. Okay, so the Curtiss design has the best range, the best toughness, close to the best maneuverability. I think we go with this one, yeah. Curtiss XF-21. Oh look, our budget is magically stabilized somehow, just due to our economic growth or something. I mean, it really hasn't. It's still only another 6 months now, but we've won 3 months somewhere in there somehow. Without me really touching anything, which is often what happens. If you're kind of close to paying for something, sometimes if all's going well and your economy is booming and all that, the politicians just sneak enough money into your budget for you to pay for things, it seems like. Everybody's got a lot more naval aircraft than me, but that's because they all spend a lot of money on building... Well, also because their carriers are more developed, but... Like, Europe here is now just absolutely peppered with land airfields operating naval aircraft, which makes sense if you're in the Caribbean or the Mediterranean and the Baltic, but, like, what's the point of me spending the money to build a base in the Bahamas or something? The U.S. is just needs carriers, yeah. At best, they might be helpful from a defensive perspective, but there's not going to be any that'll be helpful from an offensive perspective, really. Might be worth building one on Hainan and demolishing one of the ones there, though. Let's see here. Southeast Asia. Let's take down the one in St. Jacques, because this one probably covers more. How do I do that, actually? Can I not tear it down? I think I can. I just need to figure out how. Here we go, yeah. Scrap. And we will build one in Hainan. Haiku or Sanya? Haiku, because that will dominate the approaches to Fort Bayard in Hong Kong, which is actually a pretty decent place to have an airfield then. Is there any point to one up here? Not really. I mean, I guess it would counter Japan and Korea a little bit, but most likely we'll either be fighting far enough up into the Yellow Sea that whatever little airfield they have in Korea doesn't really matter, or if we're over here, then we won't even have the range, because the range on these aircraft, well, the good bombers have more like 300 kilometers, but fighters only have 100 still. Or is that in nautical miles? It probably is, but still. Let's just handle it discreetly. We just don't have anything to gain from a war with Germany. Bulbous bow, less engine horsepower requirements. High tensions with Russia. Well, if we did fight Russia, that'd be fine. We can take Sakhalin and Kamchatka from them. That's all I'd want, I think, but I am upgrading the base in the Yaotung Peninsula, partially for the purpose of a war with Russia or Japan. We're going to run out of money in 3 months. That's fine-ish. We're concerned about tensions leading to war. Well, the solution is obviously to spend more money on the Navy. To probably butcher the last Latin, si vis pacem para bellum? I don't speak Latin at all, but I know the phrase from books. For now, sure. I was actually thinking we should probably just put torpedo bombers in there, but we'll deal with that in a little bit, because I'm just going to immediately expand it again. And should probably expand these a little too. This whole expansion of air bases thing is a little addictive, huh? See, the thing is, they're pretty cheap to operate. I mean, they cost, well, they're actually not. I mean, every airbase, 40 size airbase is like, no, a 20 size airbase even is like, oh, but that's with them. Yeah, that's when they're under construction. Yeah, a baseline, like a completed 60 aircraft airbase, apparently only costs like a couple of destroyers per month to operate. Although, is that because I haven't bothered to put any aircraft in here? Maybe it is, yeah. Oh no, there's aircraft, 40 of them. So, yeah. It costs like 2 destroyers worth of maintenance, which is not so bad. I do need to change this air group. I'm gonna max out this fighter squadron. Max out this torpedo bomber squadron. Up the number of medium bombers because I'm using them as scouts. And then what for the last 8? How much better is the range of a dedicated naval patrol aircraft? See, it's really not much. I mean, I know this is a little older, but I do feel you might as well just pretty much use a medium bomber if you're going to use them for scout duties. At least at the moment. Not as durable, but still. Yeah, let's keep the logistics simple and just max out the number of these for scouting. There we go. And the budget has, in fact, almost balanced itself now, magically. We're going to make it the 5 months until we finish the destroyers, and then we'll be profitable again. Not that profitable is really the goal of a navy, but Fleet logistics. Well, struggling with fleet logistics is what that said, right? Yeah, struggling with fleet logistics. And now we have too much money again. Why? Who knows? Congress just loves spending money. Wow, Congress has really actually considerably increased the budget because it's a lot bigger. We were right even with Britain a minute ago, and now we're a lot higher. I remember that actually. I have so much less tonnage than Germany still. France, though, down to under 500,000 tons. Less tonnage than Austria-Hungary after we're through with them. Well, next thing with the funding. I mean, this will give us an immediately world-class carrier force for the time being. Next thing with the funding. Maybe we do finish replacing the last of these Lawrence-class destroyers. 3. Speaking of which, did I finish? I did finish that one. So we can decommission Stevens. And then, no, I don't really want to count these. 3, 5, 7, 10, 15, 18, 20, 24, 28. Okay, so I'd have to build 18 more to replace all of them. A higher priority is probably to get newer capital ships, particularly probably to replace the Saratoga class and the Kentucky class. With 16-inch guns should be good for a while, but the 14-inch gun ones are going to become a little obsolete here. I don't know if we'll ever... I'm not decided if we'll try to build something with bigger than 16-inch guns at any point or not. I mean, they're really not very, very, very practical, but they work. I'm sure we can have a gunnery competition. The light cruiser Fresno wins the President's Cup. And the Curtis Vindicator is entering operational service. Fantastic. Time for a new torpedo bomber too, probably. First priority, range. Second priority, toughness. Although range is... I usually do that at the start because range is so bad, but range is starting to get there, so maybe next design we don't just prioritize range anymore. Why are our funds negative? Does it cost upfront to start developing these? I mean, I know it's not free, but maybe it does cost upfront. I'm not sure. It costs so little relative to ships that I usually just don't even pay much attention to it. Okay, well, our balance is still fine anyway. Ah, dive bombing. Okay, well that does change things a little. We're probably going to immediately... Oh, I can't, I can only request one at a time, but as soon as the new torpedo design, bomber design is up, we will start developing a dive bomber, because those are pretty good, especially against carriers, but just against anything, really, especially if it doesn't have much deck armor. Okay, and that's that whole flotilla of destroyers finished. We have way too much money again. We are 8 months away from finishing the heavy cruiser Rochester. 18 months from the battle cruiser Congress. and about a year away from our 4 Langleys. We're not particularly close to war yet, so the situation is pretty stable at the moment. Just trying to think what we want to build next. Probably more new, but well, battleships or battle cruisers. Probably at least one battleship because Delaware is really showing her age. Britain doesn't have anything with less than 14-inch guns in service anymore. On the other hand, I was talking about replacing the last of my my destroyers that don't have 5-inch guns, and that has a certain appeal too. "12 apparently is the maximum I can lay down at once. I believe that should do that job. And then after that, I guess it's battleships and battle cruisers for a little while. Thanks for watching, sailors. I hope you enjoyed. New parts will be up every other day, or you can watch live on Twitch. If you did enjoy, consider leaving a like or subscribing. Have a nice day, sailors. This is Sea Lord Janda, signing off.